I'm Kira Clapper from the NBC Bay Area studios. We continue to follow breaking news this morning. A tsunami advisory has been issued for the west coast of the U.S., including here in the Bay Area, following an undersea volcanic eruption in the South Pacific. This is time-lapse video of the volcano erupting near the island of Tonga. It erupted for about 10 to 15 minutes and threw ash plumes over 8 miles high. That's according to the Tonga Geological Services. It sent a wall of water rushing toward the island nation as well as American Samoa. We recently into our newsroom have new video from Twitter showing extensive flooding. This is in Tonga's capital. You can see inside this church just getting completely flooded. Homes and businesses are under feet of water. Officials there say they do have extensive damage, and it's still unclear whether any people have been hurt or killed by the waves. We are waiting information on that. Here locally, California, Oregon, Washington, Alaska, and British Columbia are all under this tsunami advisory. This is a live look for you. We have crews in the Santa Cruz harbor where we have been seeing the water come up this morning. They reached high tide within the last hour, and we are seeing police activity there. First responders coming out to the harbor, getting people off their boats and out of the water. We've also seen rubberneckers come. That is not advised because the water levels can rise in an instant and you can get trapped in those. We actually have video of a truck that was trapped in the parking lot of the marina, and it shows just how quickly things can change. This truck, you can see, half submerged. This was video from just within the last hour. San Francisco is expected to reach high tide any minute now, around 9:09. So the fear is we could also see flooding in low-lying areas as well. The National Weather Service has issued multiple tweets, and many cities across the area have issued their own warnings. People are advised to stay away from harbors and beaches for the next few hours. This is from Santa Cruz County itself. Possible danger includes bay and harbors. Please avoid the water as well, including surfing and other water activities. Stay back from the shore, and that's an understatement. They really just want you to stay away from the water altogether. Don't even think about getting in, because the tsunami strength waves could hit our region soon, within the next few hours. We have a look at what's already arriving in Santa Cruz. Our cameras are there catching people looking on. We have police responding, hoping that people stay away. We saw some waters rising. You can see at the boat launch there, some water has come up. It's not bad right now, but the high tide and the flooding waters we saw within the last hour are all the indication you need to stay away from the water. Further up the coast in Pacifica, no flooding yet, but certainly large waves, angry surf. A reminder, the National Weather Service is urging you to stay away from the shoreline for at least the next few hours. You can see the wind whipping those flags there and those really strong high waves. Again, the National Weather Service warning people to stay away. The Berkeley Fire Department is ordering a mandatory evacuation of the marina this morning because of the waves. They are expecting waves of up to 3 feet today. Again, this is a live look at Berkeley right now. We also want to mention that in Hawaii, they are also under this tsunami advisory, and they are expecting waves of up to 3 feet as well. I think right now we're going to send it over to meteorologist Vianney Arana. She has been tracking all the goings on this morning, and a lot to get to, but the bottom line is stay away from the water and stay safe.
It is. And you know, I had a lot of viewers asking me, what is a tsunami advisory? How does that compare to a tsunami warning? Well, let me guide you through all of this. So what to expect? So the entire West Coast, this includes California, Oregon, Washington, British Columbia, and Alaska. Alaska. You're going to keep hearing us telling you to get away from the water because of the strong currents and dangerous waves, 1 or 2 feet rise in waters. But what is an advisory compared to a warning? Well, let me guide you through all of this. So right now we're seeing the potential impacts out of this be pretty much the strong waves and also the currents as well. And if I take you through to the tsunami alerts, this is according to the National Weather Service, you can see that there is a difference between the threats. So the warning is dangerous coastal flooding and powerful currents are possible. You immediately have to move to high ground or inland areas. An advisory, which is what we're seeing here in the Bay Area, means strong currents and waves are dangerous to those in very near water possible. This means you got to stay out of the water and away from beaches and waterways. And a watch means distant tsunami is possible. So we are in the advisory level here in the Bay Area because of that tsunami warning and, of course, that underwater volcano that erupted at 8:27 yesterday, centered near the Tonga Islands. So forecasted peaks right now, I've been looking at some of the water levels, and it looks like we might have already started to peak in areas like Port San Luis, near, California, preliminary at just a little over 7 feet through there. And also, just to give you a heads up, because I know people are concerned as into what an advisory means. An advisory means that it's a tsunami capable of producing strong currents or waves. It doesn't mean widespread inundation. So areas in the advisory should not expect widespread inundation. Again, this is according to the National Weather Service. However, tsunamis are still a series of very dangerous waves. And it's also important to note that the danger remains after the initial arrival time. So right now is around the time that we're expecting high tide, for example, in San Francisco. And that's when we could see some of the energy really being pushing some of those bigger waves into areas like San Francisco. But again, the National Weather Service is saying this should not expect widespread inundation. So it's capable of producing strong currents or waves, as you've seen, and also flooding in some of those low-lying areas. So what are some of the things that you can do when it comes to preparing? Well, according to the National Weather Service, when it comes to this, it will arrive in pulses of surging water similar to high tide. So you're not going to see one huge wave. It'll sort of be pulses of choppy water. You want to wait for the all clear. The threat may last over the course of several hours. So even if high tide is at 9:09, for example, in through San Francisco, we were expecting for that tsunami to hit right around 8:10. We're still not in the clear just yet. You have to wait until it really makes its impact. Now, right now, the Port of San Luis, the expected impacts to start, we're at about 7:45. So we may have already seen some of those waves peaking, and also in through Santa Barbara, down through LA as well, expecting to see some of the impacts off of that area too. Now, another area to consider, typically Santa Cruz, Port St. Lucie, and Crescent City up north are going to see some of the bigger impacts. So even if we do start to see some of this water begin to peak, this is a live look right now at the Santa Cruz water. You still want to be wary because of that choppy water, and this is going to remain. You can see we've got several patrol officers out there making sure folks steer clear of the water. And I want to thank our viewers who are saying that they are calling their friends and family, giving them a heads up, because you might just be waking up now. I know it's an early Saturday morning and you're thinking, gosh, what is going on? So let me guide you through it. Now that you understand that this is a tsunami advisory and what this means for us and the impacts, how about I guide you through what a tsunami actually is? That way you have a better understanding of what a tsunami is now that you know that there is an advisory in effect. If we can bring it back to some of my graphics for this afternoon, we're going to continue to see that choppy water, and let's get you through the guideline of what is a tsunami. Here you go. If you look at this graphic right here on your screen, you can see that the initial impacts from a tsunami, notice the fault line down below, is when the Earth's plates rub together, causing an underwater earthquake. This causes an energy vertical push, and then there comes that wave and the high rise in water. So again, we are under an advisory, strong rip currents. Stay away from the water. I'll send it back to you. to you, Kira.
Vianney, thanks. And Vianney told us earlier, as we've been following this breaking news, that this tsunami was the equivalent of a 7.6 magnitude quake. So the fact that those strong tsunami waters are reaching us in the Bay Area indicate just how dangerous this is. We're going to bring you from Santa Cruz now back to the Bay Area. People in the Berkeley Marina are under an evacuation order because of the tsunami. They are expecting 1 to 2 feet waves possible, up to 3 feet of waves possible, carrying dangerous energy that can damage boats and docks. That is a live look at the Berkeley Marina, and that's where we find NBC Bay Area's Christy Smith. She is live on the phone with us. Hi, Christy. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Yeah, I just arrived here, and where I am is near University Avenue, right near Interstate 80, and I'm in a parking lot here. There's not a whole lot of activity going on, but what we do know is, of course, that information that went out this morning to the people in the Berkeley Marina to get off your boat and off the docks now that the evacuation order was in effect due to the tsunami that was scheduled to arrive just about an hour ago. 1 to 2 feet of waves possible. Hearing, as you said, that dangerous energy that can damage boats and docks. So I do have a couple of calls in to first responders here in Berkeley waiting to hear back. But right now, there are some cars in the parking lot, but I'm not seeing a whole lot in the way of activity. I'm seeing some people walking around sort of on their cell phones. But again, I just got here, so it's not entirely clear. Some people look like they're kind of heading off. There's a trail to ride bikes in the other direction, so some people look like they're doing that. But right now it seems very calm. And in the corner of my eye there, I see a Berkeley police officer driving by, but not a whole lot of activity here now. But again, I just arrived, so what I'm going to do after I check in with you is, again, check in with some of the people in the parking lot and, again, with first responders to see if we can get a little bit more information for you. So that's the latest from here in Berkeley. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you so much, Christy Smith, for us in Berkeley at the marina there. She will bring us the latest as she learns more. But again, if you're just joining us, there is a mandatory evacuation order now for people in the Berkeley Marina. Alameda County Office of Emergency Services tweeted in all caps, "Get out of your boat and off the docks now." This is all because of the tsunami advisory that the entire Bay Area is under right now. This is because of an undersea volcanic eruption in the South Pacific last night. The volcano erupted near the island of Tonga. This is time-lapse video. You can see how powerful it is. It erupted for between 10 to 15 minutes, NBC News is reporting, and it threw ash plumes up to 8 miles high in the sky. That's according to the Tonga Geological Services. It's impacting the island nation of Tonga and American Samoa. We have new video from Twitter that's showing the extensive damage. This is flooding in Tonga's capital. This is a church that is flooding. You can see the pews submerged in water there. We also have intel that homes and businesses are under feet of water. There is extensive damage according to officials there, but we're still awaiting word on whether people have been injured, people have been killed, if people are still missing because of these violent waves. Again, here locally, we are under a tsunami advisory because of the powerful waves that could be traveling 5,000 miles from Tonga to the Bay Area. This is a live look at the Santa Cruz North Harbor. We saw high tide within the last hour, and we saw some cars submerged in water, trapped when high tide hit the marina. This is a live look at police coming, fire trucks coming, trying to get people out of the area, out of the marina, and also to keep people from rubbernecking, because at any moment the water can change and high tide can really take over. The National Weather Service and several local cities have issued their own tweets just advising people to stay away from harbors and beaches for the next few hours. Again, this is from Santa Cruz County, talking about the possible danger in bays and harbors. Please avoid the water as well, including surfing and other water activities. Stay back from the shore. Of course, we hope you will do the same. Sometimes it's tempting to go out to the water and see what's going on, but the hope is that people will just stay away because the water can change in an instant. This is what happened to a truck parked in the marina there. Our cameras caught this truck. You can see just half submerged in the Santa Cruz Marina. The water began rising there just within the last hour or hour and a half. We are continuing to follow as things change. San Francisco is expected to see high tide right around now. So the hope is the Bay Area will be in the clear in the next few hours, but we are not in the clear just yet. So we want to keep everyone away from the shores and the water lines of the bay even, because things can change really quickly. To talk about that, let's go back to meteorologist Vianney Arana, because you just don't know. Things can look calm right now and high tide can come and those tsunami waters can really push on shore.
Yeah, and high tide was expected around 9:09 in San Francisco, but we're still seeing, according to the water levels, I've been keeping an eye on them, some pretty volatile rises in the water, especially down through parts of the Monterey County area as well. So what to expect? So any of the highlighted areas here that you see in orange, just to keep it simple, is under potential threat for, strong currents, dangerous waves, a 1 to 2 foot rise in waves. So you want to move away from the water. So in general, rule of thumb is just, keep away from the beach. So I also want to take you through this explainer, because this is one that a lot of viewers were asking me about, the differences between a warning, an advisory, a watch. What does it all mean? Let me break it down for you. So when you see these alerts issued, this is a call for action and the potential hazards. The call for action from an advisory would be strong currents and waves dangerous to those in very near water possible, and some of the potential hazards, and of course move away from the water and the beaches and the waterways. Compare that to a warning. So when there's a tsunami warning issued, there is dangerous coastal flooding and powerful currents possible. So the National Weather Service is not saying that we're expecting complete inundation of the Bay Area. It's more of the lines of strong currents and those strong waves paired with high tide that'll make for dangerous conditions. You've already seen flooding at some of those low-lying areas. So hopefully this helps clear up some of the confusion between a warning and an advisory when it comes to tsunami alerts. Now, as far as what you should do and how to prepare, the National Weather Service is saying that this is going to arrive in pulses of surging water, similar to high tide, where it sort of backs off and then it moves in and sort of gets really dangerous. A lot of our viewers said they were out on morning walks, they were unaware of some of the advisories, and then when they tuned in, they realized that's what they were seeing. So move to higher inland. I know that there's a lot of patrol cars out there making sure that folks stay away from the water, but you also want to wait for the all clear. Even after high tide, this threat may last over the course of several hours. I've also been looking at the water levels, and it looks like some areas could be peaking, but even then we're not in the clear until we're actually in the clear, and that's what we're going to leave the exports for, National Oceanic Service. So let's talk about what is a tsunami. This is another really big question that viewers are asking me, because they think of a tsunami as what they see in movies. And yes, there are movies that portray tsunamis in some of the worst factors, but I want to show you how this all plays out. So if you look at this graphic, it's Earth's plate rubs together, causing an underwater earthquake. So that underwater volcano that erupted released the strength of a 7.6 magnitude earthquake, and that's what triggers this action right here. The earthquake causes a vertical push of seawater. So notice that vertical push of the water going up, and in turn, with that vertical push of seawater, as the wave spreads into shallower waters, it grows in height. So what you see here would be that large wave that, oftentimes gets depicted in films. But I want to bring you down, to where the Bay Area is experiencing. We're under an advisory. Keep that in mind. So we're not expecting complete inundation, but we are expecting dangerous waves and strong rip currents. So if you're walking around on the beach or the coastline, walking your dog, this could easily turn into a very dangerous situation where you get swept. Now, this is a live look right now at Santa Cruz, and they do have patrol cars out there. Again, this isn't going to be one huge wave. The National Weather Service is advising that it comes in sort of spurts of, choppy water here and there. Here's another live look as well. You can see several patrol cars out there monitoring and making sure that everybody is being unsafe. So all in all, the message here is going to be wait for the all clear. This is going to be something that remains a potential threat until it doesn't. And, you know, just if you're waking up now, you know, sort of figuring out what's going on, why are we, the West Coast, under a tsunami advisory? Well, because of the earlier volcano eruption that happened underwater near the island of Tonga, and that was registered as a 7.6 earthquake in strength. So it was not an earthquake, it was a volcanic eruption, and because of that eruption, the impact definitely brought on a huge surge, and that's what's bringing that dangerous energy as well. We've seen that time and time again where the boats get pushed up onto land. We're already seeing low-lying areas with water leveling as well as flooding. So as you head out this morning, I think your Saturday should not consist of the beach. Please, you know, I really want to emphasize that even though you're seeing this as an advisory and I've sort of guided you through, hopefully helped ease your mind a bit in terms of comparing the warnings and advisories, it's still a threat and it could be powerful at times with, you know, dangerous currents, especially very close to the water. So follow all guidance. You know, we've got the National Weather Service definitely keeping us updated, and I'm keeping a very close eye on the latest models for that as well. So stay out of the water, stay up to date with us, and we will definitely keep you posted. Again, we are under an advisory for the entire West Coast. Kira?
BNA, thanks. We want to turn now to San Francisco Fire Department's Jonathan Baxter. He joins us on the phone this morning. Hi, Jonathan. Thank you for your time.
Hi, Kara. Thank you for having me, and good morning.
I'm following your tweets this morning. Public safety teams are asking people to not go to the coastline and do not go near or enter the coastal water. If you can start with what people need to know this morning, is that it? Just stay away?
Yeah, in a nutshell, that's the very clear message. But before I start, please join me in just expressing and sending our support to all those affected in the islands from this devastating incident that are seeing a far worse effects from this than we are here in California or San Francisco. In San Francisco and California, we're seeing a National Weather Service issued tsunami advisory. What that means is we're not going to be inherently seeing flooding waves coming through, but we are going to be seeing waves about 3 feet or less coming in surges throughout the next 6 hours. More importantly, those surges come with very strong undertows and rip currents that could pull somebody in ankle-deep water or less with these surges out to sea, and you could potentially become a victim or a statistic because of that. So in order to help you stay as safe as possible, your San Francisco public safety teams are asking you to stay out of the water, stay away from the coastline, and reevaluate the recreational options that you were considering today. We have beautiful parks in San Francisco. We have lots of great things downtown. We have open merchants, pending, the COVID-safe measures in place that you can actually go to and enjoy in San Francisco. We're also asking people to become better prepared now. Use this as a learning experience. Do an internet search for tsunamizone.org. And also sign up for emergency alerts in San Francisco, as right now we're at an advisory level, so we're not going to get a cell phone WIA. If we went to a warning level, we would. But in advisory, you're going to get specific alerts in San Francisco, and you can get those by texting Alert SF to 888-777.
That's some great information there, Jonathan Baxter. Thank you. Before I let you go, can I ask you, I know you touched on not really seeing any floodwaters yet. Parts of the Embarcadero can tend to flood. Have you seen any flooding there yet, or is that just going to be a point of concern as the day progresses?
Well, our safety partners with the Department of Emergency Management and our Port Authority are monitoring that closely. And to put it in perspective, the surges that we're going to see are going to be consistent or in like to what we see when we have king tide events in San Francisco. So we can say that it's potentially likely. We have not seen it yet, and we're monitoring it and keeping in contact with our partners at the National Weather Service. If we do believe that is going to occur, we will be putting out alerts. Again, you can get those alerts by texting Alert SF to 888-777.
888-777. Text Alert SF to get those updates. Jonathan Baxter with the San Francisco Fire Department, thank you for your time this morning. We hope everyone continues to stay safe. thanks to you and your team's help. If you are just joining us, we continue to follow breaking news this morning. A tsunami advisory has been issued for the entire West Coast following an undersea volcanic eruption in the South Pacific. This is a live look. Our crews are down in Santa Cruz, where we saw high tide within the last hour. We saw some flooding there in the parking lot at the marina. And this is the, and now we'll take you to our time-lapse video of the eruption. This is near the island of Tonga. The power that this tsunami created was equivalent to a 7.6 magnitude quake. NBC News is reporting that some people were just sitting down to dinner when it hit late last night around 8:30. It sent a wall of water rushing toward the entire island of Tonga, as well as American Samoa. We have video from Twitter that shows extensive flooding in Tonga's capital. Homes and businesses are under feet of water, and officials there say they have extensive damage. We have been trying to confirm whether there have been injuries or deaths in association with this. We have not been able to confirm that yet, so hopefully that continues to be good news out of Tonga. This is a video of a church. You can see flooding there. Here locally, we aren't expecting waters quite the same, but there is the potential for flooding in low-lying areas of California, Oregon, Washington State, Alaska, British Columbia. They are all under this tsunami advisory. We're going to take you back to the Santa Cruz Harbor now, where we have been seeing the water come up. High tide already passed, but there is still the warning to stay away from the coast. It's not even worth rubbernecking this morning. You can see there, fire crews are there, as well as police officers. They are just keeping people away from the water. If you're on a boat in the Bay Area, you're being told to evacuate. Berkeley Marina is under a mandatory evacuation right now. They just don't even want people near the water in case that water rises. And the risk, as Jonathan Baster from San Francisco Fire mentioned, rip currents ankle high can pull people in. That's how dangerous it is. Let's check in with meteorologist Vianney Arana for the latest.
Yeah, Kira, and I've been paying attention to the water levels and seeing if we've seen
when I'm mid-sentence
anything peak or anything like that. And we are noticing there's still some volatile water near the Point Reyes and also San Luis waters. Noticing a peak in there, as well as Kira mentioned, high tide was at 9:09, but the threat remains. So if you're now tuning in, just to give you sort of an idea of the reason why we are under an advisory here is because of the earlier volcanic eruption underwater that happened yesterday that registered as a 7.6 magnitude earthquake. And if we could now go to my advisory graphic here in the Bay Area, the National Weather Service issued this not just for the Bay Area, this is for the entire West Coast. So this includes Oregon, Washington, British Columbia, and Alaska. So please be safe. Wait until the all clear from the experts. I'll send it back to you, Kira.
Thanks, Vianney. We're going to check back in with NBC Bay Area's Christy Smith, who is live in the Berkeley Marina. And Christy, you just got new information about how many people were evacuated from the marina there. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I just spoke with the Berkeley Fire Department, and what they're telling me is that so far they've gotten just over 100 people off of boats. These are people who live on boats down at the Berkeley Marina. They've gotten them off this morning, and they tell me that they're staging them over at the harbor master's office, and that's what they've been working on this morning. And of course, restricting access to the shoreline, advising people please don't come down for obvious reasons. I am in a parking lot that's kind of near University and Interstate 80. There are some people in the parking lot. I spoke with one man, and he told me he had some sort of lesson planned for today, and he was trying to get a hold of the people who were handling it to see what was happening, and he was assuming it was canceled today, which sounds very likely. But right now, as far as first responders, at least where I am, and people, it's pretty quiet here. But again, I'm not right near the water. But that is the latest information they're saying is at least over 100 people off the boats down at the marina. And again, they're advising people and reminding people, please don't come down, and they are restricting access to the shoreline. That's the latest from here. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Christy Smith, thank you for that information. 100 people evacuated from the boats in the Berkeley Marina, people who are living there, people who are staying there. Glad that they are safe. And Christy is not near the water, which is good because that is the place you want to stay clear of right now. Rip currents in just ankle deep water have enough power to pull you in. So we want to be sure everyone stays away from the shore and the bay this morning as we continue to monitor breaking news of a tsunami advisory impacting the entire Bay Area. We're going to send you with one last look at the Santa Cruz Harbor. You can see the water rushing there. We saw high tide happen already, but now it looks like there's some activity happening again. Be sure to follow us on NBCBayArea.com and download our free NBC Bay Area app for breaking news updates. Thanks for